So this is our live coverage of this parliamentary primary in Manhyia South. We'll be bringing you what's happening on the ground. Earlier, you heard our correspondent there, William Evans Inkum, telling us what's happening in that area. Let me bring you some basic information, what you need to know about this constituency. The composition of the delegates who are taking part in this primary, over 500 of them, 107 polling stations where the primary is taking place. We have 537 polling, also 5 council of elders overseeing this very primary, 5 patrons. Basic information there on Manhyia South constituency. Again, 6 electoral area coordinators, 17 constituency executives, 4 candidates. I just mentioned their names to you. So you can imagine all these individuals overseeing this very election. Joseph Akable, now we've heard that voting has ended. We saw some footages there, Electoral Commission officials counting the ballots. I'm just wondering what your expectations are really going into the closing of the polls.
I mean, just a little over 500, and so, I mean, within 30-40 minutes, they should be able to do the sorting out quickly and do the counting so that they announce the results. I mean, a lot of the times, the visuals that we brought you a short while ago, you saw a lot of the delegates trying to get closer. It's for a very simple reason. You know, when they do the sorting out, so when they pour the ballots out, they will sort them out. And so they'll say that, okay, this one goes to Awuah, this one goes to Prempeh. Now, sometimes, depending on who is obviously winning, just by simply looking at a pile of ballot sheets on the table, you can tell who has won. I mean, there are times also that when you look at them, they may look a lot similar. And so in that case, you can't tell. There has to be a real count before you know who wins. Indeed. Even in those instances, when the first person's ballot is counted, and you just do a deduction of the little over 500, and you see that someone is around 300, obviously that person has emerged victorious. And so it's a very straightforward process that we expect to take place between now and when the sorting out and the eventual counting takes place for the outcome to be made known. And so it's been so far very peaceful. We've not had any major incident reported so far in terms of any disagreement, any violence. We've not seen any video or picture of anything that we can connect to vote buying or anything, unless maybe it's taking place on our blind side. But so far, the process has been quite smooth and peaceful.
And Joseph, you can see from the footages we're showing you on our screens that the security agencies took this exercise very seriously, because they've sent a lot of officers in uniform to ensure that there's a proper coordination. That would be beyond what the NPP itself internally is doing to ensure this exercise is as smooth as possible. I just wanted us to go through really how the history has been in terms of the votes towards or for the NPP, because one of the things, Joseph, we discussed earlier was it's not really about who wins, which is obviously the NPP at the end of December 7, but also the margins that the party needs going into this general election, because it's not an election as usual. The NPP wants to make history and it wants to break the 8. So the margins in terms of the numbers they get from this Manhyia South vote come December 7 is very critical for the party, Joseph.
I mean, the danger of safe seats always is that, I mean, you risk apathy and people not showing up to vote. And not just the danger of that is that, you see, when the people come to the polling station, they vote for your parliamentary candidate and they also vote for your presidential candidate. And so if the apathy kicks in, it obviously means that your presidential candidate is losing a lot of votes, because logically your parliamentary candidate will be winning anyways. And so it is always dangerous. And that is how come the data that I'll be running through shortly shows the fact that NAPO did a very good job in there. Always he was doing better than the presidential candidate. And so that tells you that he was not just driving himself, but he was actually driving the presidential candidate as well. And so it is not just about winning this one. So whoever wins today can decide to just thank the people and go to sleep. But we'll be judging that person also with the outcome of the elections, looking at the numbers. Is he doing better than the presidential candidate? How many votes the presidential candidate gets there? Because mind you, that person's contest will always be the NPP's primaries.